Okay, so this week's independent study update, I generated a environment based upon a height map. So here it is. Um, I'll show you really quick where I got the map material from. This website, Tangigram, is basically a world map height data map. Um, So you can just go in here, get a screenshot. I actually got a screenshot, two screenshots of Great Lakes, just clicking saving. And then I stitched it together in Photoshop. Um, Photoshop right here, this is the image that I got. Because there's so much contrast between uh, like every little spot, because this is covering a vast amount of landscape, um, there was way too much contrast noise that generated huge varieties very quickly within a very small distance. So basically, this whole map became a ton of spikes in the Unreal editor. So I actually had to throw a adjustment layer over this, Gaussian blur, noise reduction. Um, what else did I do? I decreased the contrast and I darkened the overall image. Then I used that to build the current height map. And then I also really got rid of all the contrast. Well, did use only contrast. And then I inverted the map. And then I used this to generate where one of the textures lays. Like it's only in the white one of the textures. Okay. So the unusual thing about this week is everything was created within the node editor. I didn't actually sculpt anything with the sculpting tools, the painting terrain tools, because I figured I'd try something different. So we have two things going on. We have the roughness and we have the color, the texture being laid out over everything. Okay, so we have the coordinates telling everything where to go. We have a few textures, grass. And then this one is the map that I used to generate where everything is. And down here we have the sky, which is kind of telling the water where to go. So there was a lot going on here. And it's kind of a mess, the whole way that I rigged it up. And the roughness maps, I got it reworked, improved, because it looks a bit shiny. A little bit shiny. It's not too bad, but a little bit shiny. And normal maps, I'm gonna work on more as well, figuring it out. And I kept some normal map textures. Just gotta figure out what's the best way to rig it. And yeah, so this is kind of what I got. I also played with oh, actually, I guess I didn't save it, did I? Played with some atmospherics, which I didn't save, but I'll do it again later. It's not a big deal. But there's another thing I tried to do this week, which is why there's no foliage anywhere here. Every time I tried adding foliage, computer just a program would just crash, Unreal Engine. And that's because I installed this Megascans plugin, I believe. which has two programs that I really wanted to use in conjunction once I found out about them. This first one allows you to blend textures together. So, you have your different layers, your noise layer, and then you can make adjustments to different attributes of it. And, it's a really quick way to visualize what you're doing beyond just working in like a node editor. You know, it's a visual, it's preset. Um, yeah, and you can bring in other textures and combine them. And then you can export this to this program, which this program's kind of like a bridge, like Adobe Bridge, for example, where you can buy assets, organize assets, and export to other programs. And they have some free assets. So, I download a bunch of free assets. So when I brought it in here, every time foliage, it just crashed and crashed and crashed. So that actually delayed me a bit because I was trying to problem solve it and eventually conclude I'm pretty sure it's the plugin, so I'm going to remove that probably tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for this particular week. I had a lot more problems because of that. But yeah, this coming week I'm just gonna make some minor improvements. I'm gonna look into normal maps and things like that. 'Cause this would look a bit better with that kind of thing. But also I'm gonna look into cityscapes, because I think that's based upon height maps too, partly, and then improving it with stack meshes and textures and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. That's it for this week, and I'll have another video up in like 5 days or something.